Before I migrated to Canada from Nigeria, I had never lived alone, like never. I always had a lot of people around me all the time. I went to a boarding high school and lived in a shared accommodation in university. When I moved to Canada, I stayed with a family for some time and eventually moved into my own apartment. It was what we call a bachelor's apartment. The bedroom, sitting room, kitchen, wardrobe, and everything was in one space. And for the very first time, I got to meet myself. I could not run away anymore. I finally understood what it meant to be lonely. I realized that I did not like my own company. I tried to occupy myself with school and work, but still, I had to come back to myself every day. A friend told me that she used to send herself sweet, voice messages and cards, sent to her address to make her feel better. I tried all this, but nothing worked. I was still very lonely. This was in 2000, by the way, where there was no Netflix, no YouTube, no FaceTime or Zoom, and I did not have a smartphone. And one Christmas, it was just me and my bachelor's apartment. I tried calling my family all day and the calls did not go through. I cried myself to sleep, and when I woke up, I decided that I would make the best out of the situation. I would sing my favorite songs loud, of course, off-key, dance to my own music and make myself good meals. Interestingly though, it was at this time in my life that I wrote the most poems and discovered my many interests. I can now say that I enjoy my own company. I sometimes even get away from people just to be by myself. I also got to realize that loneliness is not about being alone. It's about feeling alone, and most times that comes from not wanting to be with ourselves. The one person that will always be with you is you. So this means that your relationship with yourself is not just the lengthiest, but the most important one. Strangely, it is easier to admire and love others than to love ourselves. It feels like one is self-indulgent when, we practice self-love, but loving yourself isn't egoistic. It helps you to love others appropriately, as you cannot give what you do not have. It also enables you to accept love from others. As we're often told in the airplane, put on your mask first before helping others. Even if you're a mom. The lyrics of one of my favorite Whitney Houston songs, Greatest Love of All, says, I never found anyone who fulfilled my needs, a lonely place to be, and so I learned to depend on me. I won't quit my day job, but yes, I never found anyone who fulfilled my needs, a lonely place to be, and so I learned to depend on me. It goes on to say, I found the greatest love of all inside of me. The greatest love of all, it is easy to achieve. Learning to love yourself, it is the greatest love of all. Oh, I love this. I wish I understood this earlier. Every relationship requires work and commitment. So does relationship with yourself. It needs to be nurtured. So here are some tips on how you can practice self-love. The first thing is, meet yourself. Get to know you. You may be like, I've been with myself from the day I was born and I do have a mirror. Yeah, but the truth is many people know what their names are, but are not taking the time to know themselves. It is true that we are social beings and need to interact meaningfully with others to be whole. However, the person in the mirror is the only one that will be there for you 100% of the time, as others come into your life for a reason or a season. When we're younger, we hope that one day this special person will come along and sweep us off our feet and love us unconditionally. After we've met a few people that we thought loved us and realized that some loved a part of us, some the idea of us, and others what we could bring to the table, we stop looking for others and realize that we are our greatest love. Now, what do you love? What do you dislike? What makes you happy? What are your traits and what is your purpose? Figure out all your strengths and weaknesses. Be damn honest with yourself. If you do not have a clear conviction of who you really are, you may begin to believe others' opinion of you. Be self-aware. This enables you to evaluate yourself, keep your emotions in check, align your conduct with your values, and have an idea of how others see you. Once you have discovered who you are, be you. Learn to enjoy your own company. Someone said loneliness is a sign you are in desperate need of yourself. The second thing is, don't compare yourself with others. When we try to be like others, we deprive ourselves of our own genius. So stay in your lane. When you leave your place, you lose your audience. So these days, it is so difficult to be authentic. We tend to focus on what is trending and to conform to what is prevalent and popular. We try to blend in and strive for acceptance and validation for likes from others. I mean, in the process, we lose our true selves, the core of who we really are. So know that no matter what you do, not everyone will like you. There are people that will love you and appreciate you for who you are. Some people will never. When you go to the supermarket to buy milk, you have to go to the dairy aisle. If you go to the meat aisle, you won't find it. So all the time you spend trying to be like other people deprives you from your genuine opportunities and connections. We often compare ourselves to others and try to look like everyone else. The thing is, your value doesn't have to do with how you look. So be yourself, be comfortable in your own skin. Wear what makes you feel happy, comfortable, and good. If you don't like heels, rock your sneakers. If you're not comfortable with what is in vogue, do you confidently. Feel good about yourself. Elizabeth Taylor said, do not wear makeup to feel good about yourself, but feel good first, then put on the makeup. So you possibly cannot fail at being yourself if you appreciate and love who you are. You will become who you yearn to become. You may not have all you wish for, but you have all you need to be who you are supposed to become. Be grateful for the life you have and what you have achieved. I mean, it's okay not to be perfect. That makes you human and qualifies you to be on earth. So the next thing is, take care of yourself. Love is an action word. If you love someone, you will show them, you will tell them sweet things. Same thing, do that to yourself. Someone said, love yourself in your love language. Take action, eat healthy, exercise, have adequate sleep, recreate, take care of your mental health, and make sure that your mind, body, and spirit are okay. I mean, give yourself a treat from time to time. There's absolutely nothing wrong with pampering yourself. I mean, I give myself foot massages every night before I go to bed. It doesn't have to be expensive. Even things like a face mask or a foam bath can make you feel really good. Consider visiting the spa, taking a vacation or staycation. Take time off to just have fun. Create an alone time to be with yourself. I mean, lack of self-love might be because you're taking life too seriously. Loosen up. When you do not take care of yourself, what you give others is from a deficit. Pampering yourself is not vanity at all, but complete rationality. Another important thing in the practice of self-love is set boundaries. Yes, when you value yourself less, you settle for less. Be clear and consistent about what you want and do not want to avoid mixed messages. Clarity is a gift you give to others and a favor you do to yourself. You cannot be everything to everyone. Learn how to say no and mean it. Someone may be asking you to help out when you know your plate is full. Just say no. Find the courage to choose you and put you first. Boundaries create an invisible structure that protects you and others. It helps to avoid ambiguity and unanticipated situations. Be your greatest ally and stand for what you want and how you want to be treated. You may not be the prettiest, most confident or brightest, but you are enough. Nothing outside of you is big enough to make you feel less. When you love yourself, your happiness does not depend on a job, a spouse, an activity, your bank account, or even your looks. You know that you are enough for just being you. Having the courage and audacity to permit yourself to be imperfect, that is true beauty. In any relationship, set physical, intellectual, emotional, space, financial, and social boundaries to set a good tone and define expectations. When you truly love yourself, there are certain things you won't let people do to you, and there are certain relationships that you won't tolerate. You're like a flower, and letting the wrong people stay in your life is like allowing weeds in your garden. Soon they will outgrow the flowers and make the flowers wither away. Someone said self-love doesn't mean that everyone will treat you the way you deserve to be treated. It means that you won't let them change the way you see yourself. Nor will you stick around for them to destroy you. Brené Brown said, daring to set boundaries is about having the courage to love yourself even when you risk disappointing others. The other thing that you need to do to improve self-love is change your inner dialogue. Stop the negative self-talk. Negative self-talk is something that often plagues most people. It makes one feel worthless, dejected, and incapable, and even undeserving of love, even from ourselves. You can change the way you perceive yourself by changing your inner conversation. Be kind to yourself. Do not be too hard on yourself. I mean, when you love someone, you say nice things to them, right? You don't put them down. So say nice things to yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. Practice saying positive affirmations to yourself every single day. You know, as soon as you notice that negative voice in your head, suffocate it with positive words about yourself. Give that negative voice a nickname, you know, and when it comes, address it directly and disassociate yourself from it. And that is not you. I mean, that negative voice is an evil voice. You may not be where you want to be in life, but don't beat yourself for it. Speak what you want to see and take steps to get there. I mean, instead of being your best critic, be your best friend. The next thing is forgive yourself. The hardest person to forgive is ourselves. You know, everyone makes mistakes. The most important thing is to learn, grow, and do better. Forgiving yourself is about recognizing what has happened and expressing empathy. Without acceptance, there can be no forgiveness. So once you've accepted what happened, take responsibility and take steps to make things better. The fact that you're feeling bad means that you're remorseful. I mean, remorse is good because remorse helps us to take responsibility, but we cannot bury ourselves there. So holding on to the past will not elevate your future. Someone said you cannot drive a car while looking at the rearview mirror. What you're feeling bad about may have been really terrible. You may have goofed and lost an opportunity or even lost a friendship or someone, but let it go. You may be broken, but you can pick up the pieces. You know, the purest form of love is unconditional. Give that to yourself. Now that you know better, do better. I mean, you are a developing human being and a work in progress. I mean, we all are. And the last thing is have personal integrity. Someone said there are two ways to be fooled. One is to believe what isn't true. The other is to refuse to believe what is true. Your value system and your behavior should be in alignment. What you do when no one is looking, that's the real you. Building credibility with yourself not only increases your self-worth, but makes the life that you live worth living. It is representing yourself and knowing your boundaries. Personal integrity requires discipline, taking responsibility, and courage. Maya Angelou said, without courage, we cannot practice any virtue consistently. Are you honest about who you are, what you really want, and what matters to you? Or are you wearing a mask? Is who you are different from what people see or know? I mean, when you love yourself adequately, you make an effort to live a healthy lifestyle. You commit to holding yourself accountable and being true to yourself and your dreams. The reason you may not like yourself is because you're not walking in the light of your values, but in the shadows of who you are with limited sight. It is easy to do the right thing when it is convenient, but honorable people make doing the right thing a habit. You and yourself have a lifetime together. I mean, when you trust you, you can achieve great heights. When you are born, make room for a name. When you're called a name, make room for yourself. When you are yourself, you impact the world. When you impact the world, you will be known. And when you are known, do not forget your name. If you forget your name, you will be forgotten. Remember that loving yourself is the greatest love of all.
Subscribe to Patricia Bebiamawa's YouTube page for more inspirational videos.